Hello and happy Friday, everybody. I am Nikki, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit more about how to keep it together in times of crisis. Today happens to be Good Friday, though. This is the day where we kind of stop and pause and remember the sacrifice that Jesus made for us on the cross. And so wherever you are, wherever you are in your faith journey, in your belief in Jesus and Christianity, I just wanted to remind you that that is what today is. And I wanted to encourage you to just kind of reflect on what that might mean to you in your life. For me, it means victory. And that is something that I have been clinging to for the last couple of years. A lot of people talk about word of the year and stuff like that. And one of my life words is victory. And in fact, I'm wearing a necklace today. It's from the Giving Keys, and it actually says victory on it. And right now I'm claiming victory over my quarantine manicure. Isn't that beautiful? But in all seriousness, though, I learned a while ago, probably about a year ago, that my name, Nikki, in Greek means victory. And so I'm just claiming that over my life. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come on here in the last couple of weeks and talk to you about how to keep it together in times of crisis. Because I believe that sometimes we can begin to feel really defeated when everything in our life is out of control. And yet we can claim victory. We can have victory even in these times of crisis. And I know that Jesus's disciples on this day felt really defeated. But what Jesus did for us on the cross is a huge symbol of victory in my life and in the life of many others. And so I wanted to wish you a happy Good Friday today. And I want to encourage you with this very special guest that I have today. Her name is Erika Hull. And I met Erika online. I don't even know how long ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Let's see. Well, 2014, I think, was the first time I think I saw her on Periscope, back when Periscope was a thing. I don't know if you guys were ever on that. But Erika did a lot of really great things online, just encouraging people to do things that seemed outrageous at the time in my life specifically. I was like, I don't know how she does all of this, and I don't know how I can do all of this, but she helped me through some really interesting years in my life with a lot of things like how to keep your house clean and how to menu plan and feed your family when you don't have a lot in your pantry or you just don't have a lot of time. And I just really loved her perspective on life. And she has an amazing online business where she encourages people and she creates planner inserts. And it used to be called Chaotic Blessing, and I loved that name, but she has since rebranded into something that I think is even better, no pun intended. And she is the owner of Better Over Perfect, and she is known everywhere as Planning for Better. So I'd just like to introduce and welcome my guest today, Erika Hull. Hey, Erika, welcome.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm great. I'm like almost in tears over here listening
Oh,
to you. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Erika,
Mm.
you and I have never met in person. We came
Oh,
really close, like almost close. I was supposed to fly out to Ohio in just about 3 weeks from now, actually.
yeah, we would have
For
met
a
in the
women's
future.
Yeah, for a women's conference that's happening, but it has now since moved online because of everything that's happening in the world today. So
Mhm.
I guess we're just gonna have to take a rain check. And if you ever come out to California, I hope you'll look me up because I just feel like I need to give you a hug.
Absolutely.
You've really been impactful in my life. And I'm not just saying that because you're here on my show. Like, honestly, it's one of
Oh,
the reasons why I invited you to be a part of this because I'm
thank you.
so grateful for the wisdom that you share with everybody. I put in the description below all of your contact information, but I used the word influencer, and I did that hesitantly because I know that you
No,
would never consider yourself an influencer.
no.
You
Mm-mm.
don't ascribe to the stereotypical influencer lifestyle at all,
Yeah.
but you really have a great influence on so many people around the world. You do these online live podcasts on Instagram all the time, and you are just constantly reaching out.
Mm.
So I'm so glad that you're here today. Um, and I'm just really
Thank
grateful to hear what you have
you.
to share. So Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I just I think I had too much coffee today, so I apologize. But
I understand the feeling. I think sometimes the adrenaline kicks in, for lack of better terminology. Um, I think it was so great that you brought up victory because since 2014, that has been, and everything that I've done, and I've done quite a few things, but they've all tied into just really encouraging primarily other women, that no matter what they're going through, that they can be doing better throughout it. But it takes on a different mindset. It's a mental and emotional tone that you have to like bring yourself to. And I remember some of those very first conversations that we had back in 2014 about how, as women, we establish the tone in our household and in our family, and how important it is that we have to start understanding that for ourselves. And how can we ever expect them to have, peace and calmness when we're so chaotic, which is how chaotic blessing was talked about. But anyways, to kind of bring it back, victories was always a category that I had in either the stickers or on inserts. It was always a field that I left on there. And I always said, cover it up if you don't like it. But victory is something you need to acknowledge every single week. Because if you fail to acknowledge your victories, then you're just going to become consumed with your failures. And
yeah,
that's a horrible place to live. And I've known that place for such a long time. And so coming out of it, and that's when I was coming out of it in 2014, victories was such an important thing for me to really establish on a daily, if not weekly basis, because I had just left such a horrible situation. And so I had to claim victories on a daily and weekly basis, or I wasn't going to come out on top. And I didn't realize it back then, which is interesting. Coming 6 years now of
yeah,
healing, I didn't realize how important that one thing was going to be. But so
yeah,
anyways, I'm really honored. Thank you for having me. I feel like I'm gonna
yeah.
need to rewind, and I'm gonna write down that list of things that you said about me, and I'm gonna put that on a sticky note so that I can remind myself of those things, because I'm really bad about saying I think
Me
we all
too.
are. We
We
all are.
really are. We really are. It is
Yeah.
so, I think sometimes it's easier for us to understand ourselves through the lens of somebody else that has respect for ourselves, because how you were saying how we like to just gloss over the victories and all we focus on is what we didn't accomplish. And I think we can get that way about who we are as people. I think we can really get to a place where all we see are our bad sides, and how, you and I were talking even before we came on air about how, you do those Instagram lives, and you have a and you're doing all of this stuff, and you get so afraid. And I'm like, me too. Like, I freak out every time
Yeah.
I come on here. I
Mhm.
speak for a living, and I every time before I get up on the stage, I am like, I'm going to throw up. They picked the
Yeah.
wrong person. I'm going to throw up. And then afterwards, people
Mhm.
are like, you seem so natural at this. You don't even seem like, you struggle. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, I almost blacked out a minute ago. And so I think it's interesting how when we just sit and reflect on how others view us, that
Mhm.
we can begin to have a better understanding of who we actually are. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but we listen too much to the negative stuff of
Mhm.
how people view us or how we think they do, based on how they're portraying their life. Does that make sense? So,
Oh, yeah.
like, if somebody's giving a picture perfect something, then I, as a fault in my human nature, could possibly go, well, they're going to judge me in this way because I think their life is that way. And so it's like a
Mm.
vice versa. And I've really found that, um, if you just kind of let go of that and say, I'm just going to be me. And if you like me for me, great. And if I'm too much for you, great. That's okay, because I just need to live my truth. And I need to live it without any apology,
Mm.
because apologizing makes me at fault, and the things that happen to me aren't my fault. I'm not to blame, but I do take responsibility for certain things. And so as long as I'm living that, if you don't like blunt and honest truth, then you're just not my person, and that's okay. And, carry on. I'm sure you'll find somebody who is. But if you want to knock down your stereotypes and just be yourself, then I'm here to talk,
Yeah.
and say, I think you're a beautiful person. And I think once we get to that part where we're willing to just go, these are my flaws, and this is just, this is who I am, and I accept you for who you are. That's a really great place to be.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
that's what I tried to
So
portray online. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
I love that. So while we're on the topic, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself
Okay.
and tell us about what led you to create Better Over Perfect?
So, my name is Erika Hull. I have been honored and privileged to be the mom of 6 children, 5 of which are still alive with us. I lost oldest at the age of 16 to suicide. Um, it was a hard time because at the time I was also in a very abusive marriage. So,
Mm.
and that is a lot of trauma for anybody to go through. And there's just been a lot that has gone on in my life. And in 2014, when I got out, I needed something that I could believe in and again, that was mine. And I didn't realize how much I needed that. um, I had connected with some women by chance in a mom's group, and I was had gone back to my crafting and just scrapbooking and planning together. And it was something that I'd already had done for years. I've been a crafter for a long time, and left that kind of industry and that side of it when 9/11 happened, because our focus needed to go someplace else. So it was nice to just be back enjoying something that was mine again,
Mhm.
when so much had been taken away from me. And one of the women said, "Oh yeah, I do that too. You should have you seen these shops on Etsy?" And I was like, "What?" And so she pulled it up and started to show me. She goes, you should do that." And I was like, "People don't want my art. Or what? No." You know what I mean? Like, I just had not, I didn't believe in myself. I mean, I literally was the lowest of my entire life.
Mm.
So I went for it. I was thankful to be in the opportunity where I, could, and that was a choice that was available for me. And so I went for it, and I just kept on going. I mean, that's just honest truth. I just kept on going. But the shop and business side of it wasn't really what I wanted to do. That was never really like where my passion was. What I realized my passion was just coming and talking to women. And that's when Periscope started. And
Mhm.
so I just started coming on and just talking about things that worked for me, because what I had realized was I did go through, and I have gone through a lot, but I'm still standing here.
Mhm.
So, what are the things that have helped me do that and continue to help me do that on a daily basis? Because the trauma never stopped. I ended up, having a split pelvis with my last child and finding chronic illness. You know what I mean? Like, so life just keeps on happening. And so I just have kept on going with it and rolling and following it, and getting doors slammed in my face, and some doors opened, and realizing some doors that were opened were not the ones I wanted and shouldn't go through. And so it's been a great learning process, 6 years of just really documenting, kind of in a way, my healing process while I help encourage other women. So it's kind of been a twofold thing. I
Yeah.
did it to help, and I still think I have that video. I think you remember that one where I came on and said, "I'm really doing this as my therapy, because I can't go to therapy. I have 4 kids. I don't have any connection. I don't have any money. I didn't have a vehicle. Like, I just was barely being able to feed my kids. And so that was my therapy until such time I have a wonderful therapist now. But
Yeah.
so that's been a progression of the business. I've always kept a love of planning and organization because it's something I have realized that I'm very good at. That's another thing that I've done is I've started to really acknowledge the things that I have a strength in.
Mm-hmm.
And as I focused more on those, my weaknesses stopped being such drastic weaknesses. And because we're always going to have weaknesses, there's just never a point in time. There's no such thing as perfection, which is kind of why the business changed. Is we've been taught for so long that the expectations that other people have put on us, that our churches have put on us, that society's been put on us, that our parents have put on us, that we've put on ourselves, or the things that we've taught, or the things that we've pursued, has always led to try to attain a level of perfection that's actually impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And so in these years, I started to realize that, no, perfection is just a stepping stone to better. Because in these moments, you're having perfect moments. When you get the dishes done at night and your kitchen's clean and you go to bed happy, that's perfect. That is a moment of perfection. And so you get that. But then if you don't keep on doing that, then you're not attaining better. So perfection's not the end goal. Better is, and because that just keeps us going. Honestly, I mean, if you stopped at perfect, what's left? That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, if your life's so perfect, what's left for you to do? I mean, and to me, that's boring. That would be boring. But I needed things like that to focus on because of all the things that I've been through and that might continue to have to go through in my life is no matter what, as long as that's what I'm focusing on, I can get through, the pain now that my body is in and whatever's going on. I can just go, okay, that's all right. I can do just a little bit better, or, I didn't do great talking to my kids right that second. Let me take a few deep breaths and let me do it just a little bit better, and so it's just something that you can retain into your mind. And then it becomes this mental and emotional tone that you just carry on. And the ripple effect is amazing for me. So anyways, that's how it kind of developed into Better Over Perfect.
I love that.
I don't know. That was too long of an explanation. Do you want?
No. Well, because what I love about your business is that you're not just selling a product. You're not just selling printables or planning supplies or anything like that.
I do a horrible job selling. Let's be really clear. I do a horrible job.
But what you're offering, though, you offer tools that help women get better in their life, whether that is to be a better home chef or to be a better, entrepreneur or to just be a better person in general. I just really think that's, you do a lot in your business. It's not just one thing.
Right.
And I know like when we started, so that's my next question is how do you spend your time? Because when we all started this whole stay at home order stuff, your Insta stories were just there, and they still are so encouraging and so great. You're talking about different activities that the kids can do, like just finding things around your house and let's create a game out of it. You guys were doing beach volleyball in your living room, complete with swimsuits in Ohio. I'm not even doing that, and I live in SoCal, so I'm like, that's a great idea.
Well, I am just like everybody else. I'm having, there goes my pen flying. I'm having my highs and I'm having my lows. I mean, let's be honest. This isn't anything that anybody is equipped for on a normal basis ever, right? Ever. However, if we look at it and say, okay, let's just take it moment by moment, you can handle little crises or little moments instead of going, this is day what? And so I just had to start thinking that way because I can handle little crises. I'm made for that. I've built my resilience up for that. Like that I can do. And so that's what I would just kind of wanted to show is like, just whatever. This is not something I would normally want my children to do in the house, but whatever, like, let's just have fun. And then the next moment I want to pull my hair out and
And you're
send them
hiding in
all
your
to the
pantry.
room and I'm hiding in
Yeah.
the pantry. So, and I'm crying or I'm like staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning to get something done that's been on my list, but there's always people around. So,
Yeah. And that's what I think is so great because you've been real creative about trying to recreate spring break memories with your kids, even though you can't leave the house.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really awesome. So
Tomorrow will be interesting. Tomorrow's our 6-year-old is turning 7. So we're gonna have to do a birthday party and she wants an art birthday party and it'll be quite interesting.
That's awesome.
It'll be one of those days, because I'll be honest, I'm one of those moms. I'm 43 years old. Okay. I have been doing this for 23 years. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I have played so many games. I have played Play-Doh. You get to a point where you're just like, okay, where am I going to find not just the energy, but the desire to want to do these type of things? And that's hard. And I'm not lying. That's just a hard thing to do. And so
it's hard to produce motivation. It is.
It is.
It's something that, you can do all the reward charts you want, but motivation is very difficult to just pull out of thin air. So I totally get that.
I think the best thing to do is to acknowledge all of it. Like acknowledge when you mess up, acknowledge your feelings, talk about them, express them in a healthy way. And so that you're not hiding them, you're not silencing them, because then when you do, they're holding you captive.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, yeah, this sucks. This is hard. Or, okay, that was a great moment. And then followed by, I need a timeout and I'm going to get out of here. So I think that as long as that you're at that place where just acknowledge it so that you can get to a place of accepting it, that makes it easier to have the fun moments and to just go, okay, we're just going to have a blast. Or, I played it the other day and I'm paying the price. And let me tell you, my body freaking hurts.
Oh.
I'm editing myself, Nikki. I'm sorry. I'm in a ton of pain. I have a genetic disorder, and along with it has blessed me with numerous chronic illnesses on top of it. So, a lot of fun, right? A lot of fun. But then again, it's like, okay, am I going to allow this to completely derail my entire life? Well, that's my choice. So every day I have to make a choice. No, I don't want this to. Or, all right, today I'm just, it's derailing and I'm just going to take a break.
Yeah.
So it's all about you have those choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I love about your perspective is the functionally beautiful aspect. And here you are a mom of a lot of children. You have twice as many children as I do. And so
what do I say? College. I used to say college to diapers, but did you hear?
I heard.
Potty trained herself. Well,
congratulations.
With assistance, but number 6, I just said, well, just wait until you're entirely ready and you'll want to do it. And she just decided one day she was ready.
That's really the easiest way to go.
Yeah. I've learned a thing or two. Let me just say.
Yeah.
My co-author, she jokes around. We joke. She's a doctor. She has her doctorate, and I never remember exactly her title. I need to get it memorized, but I will one of these days. Anyways, I call her Dr. C. So, we were joking, and one of the ladies that we're listening to, it's talking about motivational speaking and just really telling your story is claiming those things that you have are triumphant at, that you are an expert at, or you can say, hey, I've done this. I put 23 years into this. I know a thing or two. I don't know everything, but I am willing to help you. And I will definitely listen to what your problems are. And if I think that something I experience would help you, I'm willing to share it with you, you
Yeah.
know,
And
and
you
doing
have
it
one
in
in
a
every
way.
stage. So
Yeah,
with
yeah, but I
parenting,
can't. That's what I was gonna say. That was a long sorry. Let's go back. I can't say college to diapers anymore because so now I gotta change what I say. I don't
that's true.
what am I gonna college to what?
That's true.
Kindergarten? She's not even a
I've
kindergartner.
blocked everything out of my mind that happened pre-junior high. My youngest is in driver's ed right
Oh.
now, and I'm like,
Mm.
I just can't go back to the potty training days. I think I would be crying in the corner. But you are
She
doing a
sleeps in
lot.
our room.
You
So,
have so you have kids, you
yeah.
are an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
You've just told us that you have a genetic disorder with a lot of medical
Yeah.
ailments. You are a wife, you are all of
Mhm.
these things, and yet you are so honest and real. You refuse to put on this fake kind of I have everything put together
Yeah, 'cause I
kind of
don't.
image, right? But
Right.
but let's be honest. I think right
Mhm.
now in today's culture, on social media, especially because that's where everybody is right now, because we can't see each other face to face.
True.
Um, there's this kind of mindset of we're all stuck at home. So now is the time that you need to be getting all of your goals met, right? You need to
Yeah.
lose that weight. You need to get your house clean. You need to start that blog. You need to write
Right.
that book. You need to, right? You need to clean out
Mhm.
every closet. So there's this pressure that we have right now to get it all done. And kind of that mindset that's out there is if you don't have XYZ done by now, then it wasn't because of a lack of time, right? And so, how do we, please share with us your perspective? How do we let go of this pressure to perform during this time that we are all stuck at home and we're trying to work at home, we're trying to homeschool our kids, we're trying to, we have our spouse at home with us. If we're married, we have
Yeah.
all of these things going on, and yet we're expected to be superwoman still. So
Right. Yeah,
talk to
it's
us a little bit about that.
kind of insanity right now. I think honestly, you break it down to what works outside of crisis time, which is establishing manageable expectations. And then you can implement intentional practices. But until you know what your expectations are and they're at a point where they are manageable, you're living outside of anything that is able to like really bring you to that part where you can say, okay, well, now I could do something that I wasn't doing before. I remember back what planning 101, when did that start?
Oh, yeah.
2015. One of the very first things I said is if you are not managing what is in your life currently, don't add something else on. Don't, because if
It
you
sounds like
can't
such common
manage,
sense, and
right,
yet we
but
fall into that trap.
we do it all the time because we think that doing that other thing is going to bring us happiness, notoriety, get us to where we want to go, whatever it is. But what we're lacking is how am I going to manage that if I can't manage what's going on right now?
Yeah.
And so I think just in any category. So if it doesn't even have to be big picture, it doesn't even have to be adding on like, oh, I'm going to write a book. Yes, I was already writing a book. Let's just 1 second when we say when we talk about this.
Yeah.
I do wanna say, I was already writing a book at the end of October, so when I do talk about that, I'm not saying I've brought on this big, like, "Oh, yeah, I'm using all this free time to write a book." No.
Yeah.
That is not happening, people, okay. Because I don't want anybody to feel bad about what they are or not accomplishing, and that's the other thing is we put on so much guilt because of those expectations that we either feel from externally or we feel internally. And so until you really got to start evaluating that. One of the things that I like to ask myself is, and if I can find it, I don't know if I tabbed it, is what in my day am I accomplishing that I like? And I'm like, okay, this is going good. all right, these things are going good. This is all right. All right, now what am I not accomplishing that is really, really important to me to get done? And so once I start focusing there, then I can start realizing, okay, well, why is that happening? Well, because maybe I'm prioritizing this, or maybe the kids were having a hard day that day. So I can start kind of giving myself a little bit more perspective, which, excuse me, when we establish, what our real perspective is, that helps us manage our expectations. And so that's hard. I know that's like sounding like, let's just talk like this big, but it's not that hard to do. It really isn't that hard to do. If you just sit back and go, okay, what am I doing right? What's going good? All right. Let me give myself credit for that first before I start raking myself across the coals. um, because a lot of times when we start to just acknowledge how much we really are actually accomplishing, we won't start focusing so much on what we're not getting done.
Yeah.
Really,
And to be honest,
what's the
during this
priority?
time,
Keeping people alive
exactly.
right now? I mean,
Exactly. Our main priority right now is just to survive,
right,
right?
right.
And you and
But
I
isn't
and
that
many
every day?
others,
I mean,
right.
come on. Okay, yes. Yes, this is a horrible, horrible time. And I think that no matter what you think is going on, what your theories are, there is something going on, and it is affecting people in so many different ways. But don't we always have something going on in our lives that throws us for a loop, sends us into crisis mode, that traumatizes us? I mean, we're not free from that. Life isn't
Mhm.
free from that. And so we have to start establishing just things that we can hold on to and retain every single day, because those are the things that you will lean on in times of a crisis. Doctors are trained that way and drilled and drilled and drilled so that when the tornado hits, and when the hurricane hits, and when the pandemic hits, they have it so ingrained to their head exactly what to do in a time of emergency that it is just second nature. And so
Mhm.
how can we do those same type of things in our own life? And it's different for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
it's different for everybody. You've just got to find what your things are. And I think sometimes that's a little bit hard
Yeah. But
because
I think it's important for us to just understand that right now you are, or in any time of crisis, right? Because this is
Mhm.
being played live during a time where everybody's at a stay-at-home order,
Yeah,
or of varying degrees because of this COVID-19. But like you
yeah,
said, there's always going to be a time of crisis in our lives, and that could
right.
be a job loss, that could be the death of a loved one, that could be
Mm,
a million different things that happen in our lives that are going to throw us off the rails, just like you said. And I think it's so important that we remember that we don't need to be superwoman
right.
in all of that, right? Like, we just need to, if we can get on the other side of that,
But we
then
are
that is a
superwomen.
victory.
We are superwoman. When you acknowledge all of the things that you're actually doing in a day, you are. And
Yeah.
that goes back to why I think that planning is so important. Not just pre-planning, but at the end of the day, write down the things that you actually accomplished, that you did in some way. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be all, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be documented. This is about what you record down. This is about transcribing your life,
Mm.
because this is your book. Nobody else is going to write your book. I mean, how many people have come before us that we don't know anything about? Why? Because nothing was ever documented about them. Because they
Hmm.
didn't change history in the sense of what we deem as important enough to be in books. Do you see what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
you are that important. And so start just writing it down. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I mean, I talk about functionally beautiful because I believe that as women, even as humans, when something is appealing to us, we like it more. I mean,
Hmm.
we're human.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we make something that's appealing to us, something that we like to do, whether it's you just like pen and paper, or you like to put stickers down, or you like, a Google Calendar, whatever it is that appeals to you, as long as you're recording it down, that's what's important.
Yeah.
Because nobody else is going to do it for you. But so you see what I'm saying? And then we start to acknowledge all those things that we're doing. You are a superwoman. You are a superman. Look at all those things that you got done in a 24-hour period of time. And if when you're recording that down, you don't like what you see, then you can do something about it. If you're like, let me be honest. I've had taxes on my to-do list since the end of January. They are not done. I am not proud of it at all. I hate doing taxes.
Me
I hate
too.
it. Okay. It is on my so it's not always about, all the glory, but it is also saying, okay, Erika, you really just need to get this done. You need
Yeah.
to just grin down and bear it and handle this. You've got this. You know what I mean? So, it goes twofold. It holds you accountable, and so it helps you be better. And that's why I think that those things are important. Did
Yeah.
I answer that question?
Oh, yes. I thought
I
you
just
did a
like to
great
like
job.
this.
No, you did a great job.
Irene is here. Hi, Irene.
Yes. Hi, Irene. How are you? So, Erika, I am so grateful that you joined me.
Sorry.
It's been an honor to have you on. And I'm kind of sad that this series is coming to an end, but I'm
No.
so grateful that you joined. And tell us, do you have any last words
Did
of
we
wisdom
answer all
before
the
we let you go?
questions, or did we chat too much?
No,
Okay.
we answered them all
All
and
right,
then
good.
some. So
All right.
yeah, so I appreciate your wisdom, and I just want to give you one last minute or so. If you have anything else you want to share,
Okay.
yeah, tell us.
Well, I did recently put out 10 steps that I use all the time. So it works now, even in a crisis. So if you want to check that out on the um, blog on the website, you can. And it's a free printable, so you can just download it. And if you subscribe to the website, you get access to a filing cabinet full of stuff. And I have a lot more coming. I'm so excited, all the things that we're doing. And I think starting next week, I'm having my own live chatting.
That's so
So we're bringing back
exciting.
candid couch sessions. So if you remember those, Nikki, where
Mhm.
I sat on the couch in my living room. So we're bringing that back with my co-author, and hopefully bring some guests on, just really start talking about some things that are heavy on our heart, especially with writing the book.
Yeah.
But a lot of things are just in the works, but it feels like everything seems to be on pause right
Yeah.
now, right? It just feels like things are on pause. Um, so some of the things I did was mug merchandise. I put things on sale for people. So if you do have money that you want to spend or you want to be encouraged, it is there and it's available. I know a lot of people are in our situation where we just can't right now. We can't do
Right.
anything. So I'm doing
But
the
if
things
you
I can.
can,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
if
I'm
you
doing the
can
things that I
support
can
small businesses,
support
right?
small businesses,
Yeah.
because we don't get to file. I don't get
Yeah.
to file unemployment.
Yeah. Small
So
business, when you support
this
small
is,
businesses, you're
yeah,
filling their grocery carts,
you
right?
are.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. So go to
To even
betteroverperfect.com.
I even kept hiring people to deliver stuff because I want them to make money, and I'm like, that's the only thing I can do. So
Oh,
anyways,
yeah.
you can go to Better
I've
Over
been
Perfect.
tipping takeout.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm like, they're not getting, like, especially restaurants who
Yeah.
usually have people in, they are not allowed in, at least in our state and in our county, they're not allowed to eat in restaurants. And so people are losing tips. And, it's a really rough time for many. And I think it's going to take us a while to come out of it. But that's the beauty of crisis, is
Yeah.
that community tends to come together.
Yeah.
And so I really hope to see a lot of that, as especially right now, it's Easter weekend and we are heading into spring. And one of my favorite things has been watching parades. People will get in their cars, like teachers will go around and do, like, they're all in their individual cars and they're driving through neighborhoods honking and waving at students. And those things just bring tears to my eyes, you know?
I
And
pray that
so,
they are still allowed to do that. Like, that's one of
yeah,
the things I'm like, I just pray that some of these things that people are doing to try to just bring joy they're still allowed. Like,
yeah.
that's,
I hope we
anyway.
don't lose that,
Mhm.
right? That's something that I think a lot of us
Right.
have been trying to focus on is bringing joy, bringing love, bringing hope to people during this time. And I think I would just love to see that continue even after life goes back to normal, which I don't think it will actually go back to. I think we're going to have a new normal. Does that make
And see, that's
sense?
yeah,
So,
and that's what I love is, like, some of us who've been doing this, like, this doesn't change what we've been talking about. It just has brought into light the things that we've been talking about for so long, you know?
yeah.
You've been doing things and I've been doing things for 6 years. This is the things that we've already been talking about and how pertinent they are now, and it's really a blessing on both ends, like, to just see it come some of these things come to fruition and people really connecting that should have connected long time ago.
Mhm.
So
I agree. I
so,
agree. And
anyway,
one of my favorite
thanks for
things
having
is
me.
that my internet friends are my real friends. I
Oh,
love it.
yeah.
And nobody thinks that's weird today
We have like
because
7 degrees of bacon, like, we've already, established that because my best friend has met you in person,
yes,
and
she
I've
stayed
met
at my
my best
house.
friend in person because
And
I
I
met her
didn't know she
online.
was your best friend
Right,
until after, and then I was like, "Oh, look at that." Yeah, it's so
right.
fun. So
And now
fun.
I know somebody in my own community that you've known for 4 years. It's a little,
Yeah, which is
we've got
why it's weird that we haven't met in person yet.
I
We're
know.
gonna have to make that happen.
Have to
So,
change it.
Erica, thank you so much for
Thanks for having
joining me
me.
today, and I just really appreciate you. So, I hope you have
Thanks.
a
I hope
blessed
it was a
Easter
blessing for
weekend.
others. So,
Oh,
thank you so much for having
100%.
me.
Thank you,
Alright.
Erica.
Thanks. Bye.
You guys, I am so grateful for all of my guests in the last week and a half. And I hope that if you have not watched any of them, or maybe you need to watch them again, that you'll go back and watch the replays because these women have been just so full of wisdom and common sense stuff and practical stuff, but also just super encouraging. And I know that they will continue to be. So please go make sure that you follow them on social media and that you are just let them be a part of your lives because I guarantee that they're going to be a huge blessing to you. So thank you again for just joining me on this journey. I would love to kind of reignite things here on YouTube. Don't know what that's going to look like though. So if you've been following me for a while, I would love to hear from you and just let me know what you'd like to hear from me. I am more than willing to share with you my current planner setup, but I'm going to be honest, it hasn't changed in about a year. So a lot of those kinds of videos might get boring if I just keep doing the same planner setup every time. But I would just love to be some sort of resource and tool and help for you in your life. So I'd love to know what it is that you would like to hear from me. You can send me a message. You can head over to my website, allbecausefhim.com, and you can message me there or find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm SkaGirl23, and I would just love to continue to be a part of your lives as well. So thank you again for joining us on this series. I hope you guys have a great Easter weekend, wherever that is in this world and whatever that looks like in your life. I just hope that you are blessed. And with that, keep it together. You can do this. I believe in you.